Okay, congratulations on your son's. He's married now, right?
I have two sons who got married last summer.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
Andrew the older one got married first in Yosemite National Park.
Oh my.
Yeah, to a young woman who's from California, but she has a lot of family who live right here in Concord and Acton and Boxborough, which is really wonderful, especially at the holidays.
I know.
Yep, and our younger son got married in September in Vermont to his hometown girlfriend who he met when he was 3 at a Valentine's party.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. We actually found a photo of them, his mother and I. They were in a baby group together, and they're sitting at a long table with all these little 3-year-olds in little red chairs. And we had all thrown, the moms threw a baby Valentine's party, and he's sitting at the end of the table and he's looking diagonally across at her.
Oh my goodness. It's like a story,
It is.
Oh.
And they were, kind of boyfriend and girlfriend sometimes in middle school and high school, but went to different colleges, had other boyfriends and girlfriends. But then shortly after school, he was traveling through Africa and she joined him, and they traveled through Africa. And then they went to Nepal. They traveled through India and the Himalayas and up to Everest Base Camp. And then they went to Australia and lived and worked there for a year. They've just been absolutely everywhere. And now they're in Vermont, and it's really nice.
What a beautiful story. That's amazing. And is that the house that you want to draw?
That's the house. And I do have a little picture of it here.
Okay,
and we'll do it another night, because I really want to do trees, because for a little while I was pretty good at trees. And in the botanical art class I took at Wellesley about 5 years ago. We learned a technique for doing trees, especially birch. And I came home that night and I thought, if I just practice this, and I did it 100 times, Seppi, and it was so fun, and my trees look great, and I've since forgotten it. So I would love it. I really want to do this, but anyway, this is the image. If you can see this.
I see. It's a beautiful house. I love it.
Yeah, it's just a little cape, but it's their little cape. And so I wanted to try and do something. My attempts have been bad. So I thought you could help with that.
Definitely. One quick question before you start thinking about your projects, let's say. So the picture that you have from their house, is it just this one? Is there any other view of their house, more I don't know, I would say diagonal view, seeing some part of we just see one straight wall?
That's a good question. I will go and look through what I have. And if not, if we're up there in the next, we're working together over the next few months, so I could get there and try and get another picture that has maybe a better angle. Because
I'm going to show you an example. I hope you can see what I'm showing right now here.
Oh, yeah, so I love it.
Yes, you can see a house which is actually in our old neighborhood in Auburndale. And the way that I took picture of the house is not right from it's not like real estate picture, right from the front, but a little bit from this side, more like a 3-dimensional cube form. Oh, look at that lady.
Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? It's really nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Oh my gosh. And she is a grandma now. She is a grandma.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
I'm thrilled. Yes, it's so exciting. It's wonderful. You probably are not.
I'm not, but I've got 2 daughter-in-laws as of this past summer and fall. And so I've also started just knitting like crazy, because friends are having grandchildren, and I'm knitting little jackets and things. It's really fun.
Oh, That's great.
Yeah.
Knitting is my weak point, and I'm always jealous at people who can do that.
Well, you know what? Anytime you want help or have a question, I'm happy to exchange the favor for all you've taught me on painting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, so when you want to work on this project, the house, I want you to think about a better picture. That is a good
Okay.
picture, too, but have this on your mind, okay?
I will. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
will.
Thank
Yep.
you. Okay.
Okay.
So we want to work on birch trees. I think that they are beautiful. We are going to do more trees for this 4 class that we have together. And I expect you, since it's just once a month, I expect you to do more practice and send me the pictures of your artworks. And I am here for you to guide you through your path. If you find, I don't know, if you find some other pictures online, if you take pictures outdoor, it's a great way to practice more. But whatever you are doing, I tell the museum crew to try to finish your work. It's better than having too many pieces unfinished. So focus on one piece, and it doesn't matter if it takes long, but every night, 5 minutes. I don't get time, just sit down for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, set a timer on and try to do something each night. It would be very helpful with a glass of wine. Okay, just one glass.
May I show you something here? I've got
Yes.
it. You will laugh, but this was from your class before COVID, certainly. But we did trees in your class one night. Oh my gosh, you probably can't see it because my light is so bad here.
We can see.
I used funky colors and I loved it so much in its, you know, flowy imperfection. It's kind of impressionistic. And again, it was doing the tree trunks like from the Wellesley class. I put it up on my skylight, and whenever it goes by with all the photos, it makes me so happy. So
great. That's
anyway,
great.
Yeah.
Speaking of botanical, I am going to teach at a botanical garden in Framingham starting in May, and I will share the information with everyone. Would be on Thursday nights, and it is from 5 to 8, but I don't know if it is convenient for you, but it's in the garden.
In the woods? Garden in the woods?
Yeah, that's the place, and we are going to get inspired by the ambiance. It's a beautiful class with a nice view. Going outside, maybe. I'm excited.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So this is one example which I'm working on, but we have a picture. So hopefully you have your pictures ready. I'm going to turn this camera off so that I can focus on. And you have, as I said, Betsy earlier, you have 2 cameras, 2 of me. One was my face, which is off right now, and one is my hand, which is important right now. And the paper that I'm working on is a block of arches, and it's a good size because I usually can finish it. It's 9 by 12. It's 9 by 12, 300 or 140, and it's blue so that we know that it is a cold press, not hot press.
Yep.
And another size, which is good if you feel you don't have enough time to finish big size works, is 7 by 10. That is a good size too. So this one is a little bit bigger, 9 by 12. And the first thing that we need to do is to draw the subject. So I'm going to make, on my side, I'm going to make this screen smaller so that I can see my reference image.
Now, Seppi, I did not print the image out on my printer in advance. So do you want me to, I can run up and do that? Or if it's your image,
so you have 2 different choices, because if I put a picture here, it's not going to be a good quality picture.
Okay.
I can share my camera, my screen with you. Let's see if it works and if you can see, or you can go to the link that I shared with you and open it on your device right beside our, if that works. Let me see.
Yeah, Elizabeth, do you have a preference, Elizabeth? Will that affect her?
I didn't print it out either.
Okay.
So how does it look when I'm sharing my screen? Can you see anything that I'm sharing?
That looks fine. I can see that.
Yes.
You can
Is that
see
okay?
that?
Is that okay, Elizabeth?
And you know what? I'm gonna actually make this screen bigger. So I'm gonna open this so that you ladies can see better. Is it
Susan,
better?
feel free to call me Betsy too. My formal name
Okay,
is
Betsy.
Elizabeth, but
Okay, so is it better now?
Yes.
Bigger than before, right?
you know what? I'm going to pin you so I can
Oh
see.
yeah, definitely. I forgot to tell you. This hand camera, this paper camera on my hand, pin that camera.
Yes.
Pin that.
Okay,
That makes it much better.
got it.
Great.
Okay.
And pin the other one too. I don't know. So you can pin two cameras. So one is my hand, the other is the picture. The pencil is 2H. Why? I think I explain. I always say H family are great because you easily can erase them if it is needed, and you won't end up with a smudge. They are harder. The core is harder, so it's not going to get as smudgy. And 2H is a good size. When I'm drawing the trunks, first of all, there is a rule to draw any type of tree trunk. They are a very mild cone shape. So although that it seems that these lines are parallel, they are not, okay? They are getting skinnier when we get to the top of the tree. And we are going to exaggerate them a little bit, not much. So here I definitely can see that this tree, I definitely can see this part is skinnier than here. On this one, it's hard to tell, but it's still, it is the case. And when I am drawing the second one, I am considering the negative spaces in between them. Then it makes my job easier to draw the next tree right beside this one. So how does it look like? The space in between them. Is it right? Is it wrong? Actually, it's not right. So I need to erase this part a little bit. And make my line a little bit more diagonal. This one. While I'm doing that, when I get to any big branches, it's a good way of drawing to just leave a mark here or even add my branch here. Branches on these trees, although the trunks are light in value and color, most of the branches, at least this one is dark. So I can use my pencil and make it thick like this. And then another one is here. And these are the big size branches. The smaller twigs, I'm not going to draw them. We are going to draw them with our brush using paint. So when these two trees are getting very close to one another, maybe closer than this, then I will start making this big branch here. And this one really is like a trunk itself. It's big, it's thick, so I need to really outline it. This is actually a screenshot from a picture, a reference image that I'm using the other half for MFA. So if, and I was thinking for myself, finishing this, thinking about, okay, if I frame that, these two can go right beside one another, like panels. If you like to have the second picture just to practice yourself, I can send it to you. Let me know. Okay, and then we get to the skinnier part of the trunk up here. here, I'm not very happy. I'm going to erase this part and redraw that. The negative space in between them, which is the sky, is here. So that was a marker for me to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Mhm. And then we have some twigs and bushes down here and snow. So I'm just going to scribble a little bit just to have something there, which we will cover with paint later on. Okay, there is a tree back here. I am not going to draw that one. The fourth tree on the side, I'm not going to draw that. I am going to draw this branch on the left. Okay, the next step, and you know what? Again, reminders about housekeeping reminders. If you have any questions right in the middle of the class, please unmute and ask me. Yes, and although that I cannot see you right now, but I can hear you and I can answer the questions. So the next step after drawing the main trunks and some of those big branches is to draw more branches, the bigger ones. As I mentioned, we are not worried about the small twigs. We're gonna draw them with brush later on. And then there are some patterns on the trunk which we're gonna use brush and paint to make them. So I'm not drawing them either, unless if you really like to. Okay, what's that here? This one is a good one too. I'm just gonna draw it better. Okay. I think it is good for now. We do have more branches which we can draw later.
Seppi, I saw that you were recording this. Are you recording us too?
I'm recording everything, but you are just two of you will see this recording.
Okay, great.
No one else. It's just for you two. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. And it's help. I mean, I think maybe it is helpful for you if you need to go back and see what I said, if you forgot something. that is why we share that. And it's active, I think, till the end of this course, and then it will be deleted.
I use the recordings all the time. I go back all the time. I love them.
It's helpful for
Really
me.
helpful. Yeah.
I just didn't want to be broadcast to the
No,
world over a
never.
cold and not at my best.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That's it with you.
Thank you.
Of course, never ever. It's very private to just us. Yep. It's like a semi-private class. It's just two of you. Yep. And it's just for you. Okay. Any questions so far? Nope. I cannot see you. Just
I have one question.
please. Yeah.
I was looking down at my work when you were talking about where you were putting in the suggestion of the horizon line.
Yeah.
Is that what you're working on right now?
Exactly. So I'm putting the horizon line again, comparing that to the, it's like position comparing to the trunks. I'm putting it, I would say, in 1 or 1/3 or 1/4. 1, 2, 3. 1/3 of the bottom part of my paper.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I'm not worried about this tree. I think it's going to be too busy putting that tree down over here. There are some evergreens on this side, which we may add when we are working on the background. Not yet. I'm not worried about that either. So right now I'm thinking about the approach. So the trees are light in value. And if it was dark, I would definitely go with the sky. How about this one? The trees are almost, logic says it's white, but are they really? They are not. If you squint your eyes and look at the image, it's medium gray. The value is medium gray, right? It's like, it's not that light. So this makes me free, feels free to lay down my sky color all the way up here, maybe all the way on my paper too, because the snow is not white either, right? So the first layer would be a light value blue. And for the blue, I'm going to use the sky color. Which color? It can start with something like cerulean blue, and then it's getting lighter, and then we have something like ultramarine. So ultramarine blue, cerulean blue up here, and then we're going to make it lighter, and then back to some bluish colors, which we will, and this is just the first layer. So
okay, and Seppi, would you want for one more time? I
Yeah.
see the snow line. Is there a mountain line on the horizon?
I think so. Probably in your picture it looks like that because you see through my picture. These are trees.
Okay.
I don't see mountains. Yeah. If you're
Okay,
talking
got it.
about this side of the image.
No, I'm talking about up one higher. They're branches. Yeah. Go up one higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Other
I don't.
side, like all the way to the left. Those are branches.
Those are branches. Yep.
Yep. Got it.
Yep. Okay. So I am going to. So there are two different approaches. Let's actually do this one. If you have your bottle to spray some water over your paper, do that. If you don't, use your 1-inch flat brush, this one, and clear water and wet your paper. Let's do it wet on wet for the first layer.
Even if we haven't drawn as many details, well, it's okay. I'm just.
No, you should actually, after you're done drawing, yes. And
Okay.
I add some of the details you need to add.
Yeah.
Then you
Okay.
start wetting, yeah. Like, let's say up to where I am. Draw
Okay.
those like branches, yeah, no rush. And whenever you feel, any of you.
Okay.
feel
And
that
we're
you're going-
using, to start, we're using cerulean.
Yeah, because I feel that, look at this top part of the picture. I feel that it's a nice, warm blue color. It's warmer than ultramarine and cobalt. probably. And it's a good idea to add cerulean to your ultramarine blue on the palette, or add them onto your wet paper and let them bleed into one another. So either way work, either mix them on your palette or put them right onto your wet paper. Make sure to spend some time to wet your paper and help the water to go through the texture of the paper. We don't want any puddles. We don't want the pigments to float over the paper. We really want to get that bleeding effect. Wet on wet technique is all about that bleeding effect, right? So that is important. I'm gonna check right now. This is what I'm doing. I'm checking my paper from the side, see if everywhere is wet, shiny wet, and get rid of any big puddles. Down here is dry. I'm gonna add some more here to this corner. I think it is now ready for paint. For this one, I'm using silver black velvet brush, round brush, this one here. Mine is size 12, but if you have 8 or 10, those are also good. And what I'm doing right now, and I am going to let the colors bleed onto each other or into each other on the paper. So I loaded my brush with cerulean blue. Am I worried about my trunks? I'm not. However, for example, here the trunks are light. I'm not going to go right over the trunk with this. I'm careful. Here is pretty dark. So in some areas, so have your eyes go back and forth to your reference image and your paper and put the blue colors, although they're going to bleed onto the trunks, but I'm not intentionally putting the blue right on the trunk, if it makes sense. And then it seems that there are some clouds there, so I'm just going to leave some spaces untouched. And this is just cerulean for now. And here is very light, but I know when the paper dries, it's gonna dry very lighter than this. So I'm not afraid of using a little bit more pigments and paint. Here also.
And Seppi, remind me, it's been a while since I've done the horizon and the sky. The color is more intense, lower. Or the other way around?
The other way around, usually. Okay. On a perfect day, clear sky day, it's darker when you are going away higher. And then when you get closer to the horizon line, it's getting lighter and lighter.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, it can be any color, any intensity, depending on the weather condition. But on a perfect day, clear sky, that is the case. Now I'm adding some dabs of ultramarine blue, or you can add cobalt blue here also. So how about here? Down here, before it dries, we also need to add a little bit of ultramarine, maybe not cerulean much. I'm just going over, this part of the trunks are dark. And it's okay if I go over them with some blue, where right above the horizon line, I can see some trees in the far scene, and it's okay if I put this color just down to show that, those details. And I know this is just the first layer for me to get rid of that scary white paper. And then I will figure out which colors I want to put after. But for now, this is a good start. And again, this part of the paper work is also dark with some cool colors and then some bushes and branches, which we will add later on. Another thing that I want to mention in this work, and we talked about it before in our classes too, I always say, when you have a reference image, figure out where the source of light is. It's not very clear in your image. Pretend that you find one of these. For example, if I'm looking at this image, it's kind of confusing to me, but I definitely can tell on this tree, the left side is lighter than the right side.
Yes.
So it seems, and I'm gonna stick to this one for all my tree trunks. So I'm gonna, and this is a different image. On this one, on the image that we are working from, I'm looking at the trees, and on the one, on this one, I can tell the source of light, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the source of light is probably on the right. Does that make sense? Or maybe, am I right?
I think it's on the left.
It's on the left. You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
This tree here, this part of the tree is facing. I agree. Yep.
Yep.
So it's on the left, and we, although that we cannot see it on the other trunks, we're going to show that. We're going to show that. So the source of light is on this side. I have to darken the opposite side when I'm painting my trunks. It's funny. Trying to find the source of light in some pictures.
And sort of in the front too. It's as if it's where we are.
Yeah, that's right.
Where we are, I think.
Yeah.
And then Seppa, you put the ultramarine in down, just down below, you put a little bit in for shadow.
Just that, yeah. I didn't put any other color. And that is the color that I use just for now, for the first layer. Okay. Here I use cerulean, and you can see that, and ultramarine. Right now, before I go to the next layer and think about the next layer, it's not a bad time to add some of those dark values. I'm going to squint my eyes right by the horizon line. Remember, I told you there are some evergreens here. Maybe it's a good time for me to add those. It's going to be very feathery edge. It's going to be very vague, but it's a good time to put those there. And for that, you need your cool green. Why? Because it's far seen, because of the wavelength. A rich cool green, I would say you can mix your ultramarine blue with your viridian. If you have the Russian palette, which is not available anymore because of the sanction.
Oh, I was wondering about why you were, because you use that all the time. No kidding.
Yeah, it's not
I
available.
love that palette.
Me too. But you saw the supply list. I put a replacement with the Japanese palette, which is a good one.
I saw that. Right.
Yeah, because I went there, Betsy. I went to their website. I said, I heard from one of my students that they're gonna run out, and Bleak posted something that if you ran out, there won't be any available. So I said, I'm gonna order one more palette. And then I thought, okay, there is no more available. Anyway.
Okay, so what you mixed
yes.
ultramarine and vermilion?
So this is, I want you to see which cool green color you have. And by that, you can use a practice piece of paper and lay down your green color. This one that I'm using right now. Is from Daniel Smith. It is called Cascade Green. I love it. It's a good color. But you don't have to buy this one. If you have, I'm sure you all have Viridian Green.
Yes.
The difference between Viridian Green and this Cascade Green is that Viridian Green is a little bit immature, raw. You have to make it a little bit, I don't know, more like a natural green, not synthetic green, by adding a touch of alizarin crimson.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna step away for 1 second while I get something to open. The tube is shut.
go ahead, Susan. Yep. And even I am going to add a touch of red to this cascade green on my palette. And I'm gonna lay it down here and I'm dabbing. So I am just looking at the reference image and seeing the picture, and I can see some reflections of sunlight on the evergreens, which are warmer. So I'm gonna use those warm greens as well, but this is a base color. Maybe there are some movements like this also here and here. And there are some more trees here. Since we don't have that birch tree back here, we are going to
And Seppi, it was a touch of alizarin crimson.
a touch. Yep.
Yep.
And whenever, and you see if you're happy with your green, if it looks natural or not.
Okay.
You can definitely judge your color. And then from here, I'm gonna warm it up a little bit, switching to a smaller size brush. I'm going to my number 6 round brush. And I am going to add a touch of olive green. But if you don't have olive green, mix your sap green with yellow ochre. And I'm gonna add it. So here we definitely can tell the source of light is on our left. And this side of the evergreens are warmer. And I'm dabbing. Can you see that? I'm just dabbing my olive green to here. And here a little bit. Okay. Darkening the viridian or cascade green with a little bit more of your alizarin crimson. And going closer to the base of the trees and dabbing this dark green here. It will give your trees a sense of
Weight.
weight, thank you. And a sense of
Sitting.
gravity. Yes, sitting. Thank you. Thank you so much, Betsy.
You
Yeah.
grounded them.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And here we have some trees, and all I can see are cool green colors. There is no reflection of sunlight. It seems that this part of the scene, and it's dry. My paper is almost dry. So if your paper is still wet like this side, use the same technique. Otherwise, I'm just gonna move this around.
Seppi, for the sap green, the other shade of green that you're using there, sap green, and you said yellow ochre.
Yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is your warm yellow. If you don't have it, use cadmium yellow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And here I'm careful not to go very close to my trunks. A little bit here. And here. This branch is dark, so I'm going all the way over that. Okay. While the paper is still damp, it's damp because in some areas it is not responding the way I expect it to. While the paper is still damp, we can add some darker values down here. Which colors? I would say I'm gonna go with some brown colors down here for the branches. And I'm gonna play around with my brush strokes. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm using number 10 or 12, doesn't matter. And I will go with you can use Van Dyck if you have Van Dyck, or Van Dyck brown if you have any other cool brown color, you can go with that. Birch Umber is a good color. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna squint my eyes to get rid of the details and see the scene easier. And I will move my brush like this. We don't want it to be very cookie cuttery, and we know that. So you see that the paper is dry. I wish the paper was more wet. I don't want details like this yet. It's too much. But I'm testing my paper and see how it responds. Can I re-wet the paper? Of course I can, but I prefer not to. I'm just gonna play around with this dampness and leave some marks here. So you see how I change the direction of my brush strokes. It's like a scribbling, but with some intention. Okay, it's good for this stage. And then I feel the need to darken here a little bit more. I'm gonna mix my ultramarine blue, which we used here, and it's gone right now. It's dry, it's gone, with some purple. So if you have Windsor Violet, that's a good color to add it to your ultramarine blue. If you do have that Russian purple, that's a good color too. So that's what I'm doing right now on my palette, mixing some purple with ultramarine.
My computer is doing something wacko, so I'm going to restart it. Nope. Well, yeah, I might need to
Oh, really? Okay.
disappear for a sec. Let's see.
Okay.
It's oh, I don't know what it's doing.
What is happening?
It's flashing back and forth between this screen. Oh, it stopped now. And an email I've been having trouble sending. Something bizarre is happening, but it's stabilized now. That's good.
Great. That's good. Yeah, good. I know.
Like a strobe effect, which I really didn't need.
Yeah, I know. I have these moments when I'm teaching the kids sometimes, because now we are using our laptops, and usually we teach the lesson through slides. Sometimes these like technical issues with like some tricky group of students, when you face with some technical issues, you don't want that, right?
Right.
Okay, can you see how I'm darkening the bottom? And it's just a combination of like browns and purples and blues, just to, I don't know, to help the viewer's eye to settle down on the bottom, heavier here, and then we go with different values in different layers. So that is for the first layer. Now, I need to dry this layer, and if you are behind, it's time for you to catch up. I'm gonna mute the mic so that I can use the hair dryer, and then I will start the second layer. And before I start the second layer, I will answer the questions and I will check where you are, okay? So I'm gonna mute, dry, and answer the questions after.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for muting. I didn't realize what an assault on the ears a blow dryer can be if you don't need to hear it.
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't know that I'm talking to myself.
What were
I
you
said thank
saying?
you. I said thank you to you, and then yeah, and then I said I'm stopping sharing my screen.
Nobody's answering me.
I know. I was like, why you're not answering? And then I asked, who wants to ask a question? And then I realized I'm on. Okay. So, any questions?
No, I'm just got to do my purple at the bottom.
Okay, great. So do
And
your
I got
Yep.
my little 24 pan St. Petersburg from your class that I
Nice.
use all the time when I just want to sit down and do a little something.
Now it's
so
something
I'm
very,
using everything all at once.
yeah, great. So let's see.
That sounds like the name of a movie. Everything, everywhere, all at once. I
That's
haven't.
right.
No.
Nice job. Yeah.
I've got. You can see it was very, very wet and less so.
Same, like mine. Good job. Nice drawing, nice colors. Great first layer. Very good job. So I'm gonna remove the pin here. And then Susan, if you want to share, you can, you don't have to.
Yep, nope, I will. Yep. I'm just getting my purples in at the bottom. Couple more strokes.
Take your time, yeah, of course. And this part is my favorite part because we get to create these 3D. Okay, let me come to you first, Susan.
So, because my lights here are so bad, I'm gonna have to set something better up.
Don't worry. No, hold it up toward the screen. Hold it up a little bit closer to you yourself. Closer to you.
To me.
Very
good.
Yep,
okay. So here, we put the light on it now.
Yeah.
Can you
That looks like a big piece of paper? Is it a big piece of paper?
No, it's just the same size that you guys are using, I think.
It's just that you're so teeny. That's right.
Yep.
You're teeny, so it's covering up a lot of you. That's right.
That's it.
Sorry.
It's all right. We went to at one of our weddings this summer. I saw a sister-in-law who I haven't seen in a long time, and I love her. And she's always says just the right thing, except she hadn't seen me in so long. She walked up to me and said, "Susan, you've gotten even shorter." And I was like,
okay.
Well, short people are supposed to be the wave of the future because they eat less food, take up less space, drink less water.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I will tell you, Betsy, that most of my closest friends are all over 6 feet tall, if you can believe that, which makes for some pretty ridiculous photos.
But you know what? Many successful women are not tall. So when you see, I mean, some of Lady Gaga, I love her. She's great, right?
I do. Yeah.
Madonna, she's great, and they are not tall.
Yeah.
Many and other like successful people too. So yeah.
Good things come in small packages.
Yes, they do.
But it was interesting the way that your sister-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Said that to you after many years. Like the first thing that you say to someone, is it that? Seriously.
I know. It like right to the heart. Oh my God.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Apologies if I was thoughtless.
So I am going to again go back to the previous mode. So I'm going to turn off my camera on this side. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to make this screen smaller. This one I'm going to share so that we can see the image. And make this one bigger. Okay. Favorite part of this painting to me, which I'm very excited about, is to create those three-dimensional effects to the trunks and to paint the trunks. Okay. The only challenge that we may have working on light colored subjects are the colors. Which colors should we use to create these trunks, which are not very light in value? My suggestion always is to have a practice paper handy to test and try your colors. The colors that I always like to try when it comes to create grays, it's not gray. It's a color which can be close to gray. And you know where I go, purple, right? Purple is the color that I start with, especially for birch trees. And then I'm looking at my reference image and I can tell that, yeah, I need to balance it out by adding some blue and maybe some yellow sometimes, because yellow and purple are complementary to one another. And that way, by mixing them in a nice balance, I can get a nice neutral color. So I'm going to do that. I am going to mix these colors that I mentioned, starting with purple and blue.
And which blue are you using? Are you using ultramarine?
I'm using, yeah, that is my favorite one. Honestly, cobalt is a good blue too, but I am running out of cobalt. Either of those would work. So right now I need more purple and less blue.
And which brush? A 6? Yes, I think.
This, yeah, exactly. Yes, it is 6 because of the size of the trunks and the paper, right? So this is going to be a blue violet color. Definitely not the color of the trunk, right? So if I want to make it more towards gray, but not gray, I would add some yellow. And I'm going to go with my combination of my warm and cool yellows, cadmium lemon and cadmium yellow, so that I can get something more like a primer yellow, just a little bit of yellow, not a lot. And mixing it with my blue violet on my palette. And it's like cooking. If you think that it's too much yellow, just balance it out by adding more of your purple and blue. It's not the end of the world. Just add some more. And now I'm going to lay down this color on my paper. I'm happy with this one. It's a nice mature gray rather than using black and lightening the black with water. This color is a very nice color. And sometimes I can turn it more into purplish by dabbing some purple over that. But I'm starting from here. Any questions about the colors?
No, let's see what you do with this.
Let's see. So source of light on the left. 2-brush technique. That's what we're gonna do for this trunk.
And these are one is the number 6, number 8. Yep. Is that okay?
Yeah, and you know what? Yes, and when we are talking about 2-brush technique, it can be done by just using 1 brush. Yeah. But the only difference is you need to read your brush in between any stage. So, but I am using 2, and whenever we are using 2, usually the smaller size carries the pigments, the bigger size is for water. So bigger size is number 10, and source of light is on the left. So I'm starting by wetting the trunk, mostly on the left side.
And are you wetting it with very dilute pigment?
No, just water.
Okay.
So this one is clear water, but I can work in sections. I can just wet this part and put the color down, or I can wet the whole thing, and then we will see. If I think it's dry by the time I get to the bottom, I can re-wet the trunk always. But I'm going to use a good amount of water because I want to give myself more time to paint the trunk. So one more layer of water. And now this brush with purple on it. I am going, and if I see that it's too strong, I'm going to just add some more water because it was very strong. I'm going to add some more water and I'm going to go over the darker side of my trunk here and let it bleed here. And while I'm doing that, although that I cannot see it everywhere, but there are like some bumps sometimes, more like the beginning of a branch or something that I can now create to give my trunk a more organic, fun look.
I think you wet maybe half of that, or was it the whole trunk?
Almost like most of it. I just left a dry, yeah, I just left a dry ribbon on the left side.
Yes, that's why. That's what I did not do.
And if you,
still my most.
Yeah. So let me tell you something, ladies. If you didn't do that, another approach is this. Let's say I did just this. Let's say I just did this part. And I'm putting my color here and nothing is happening. I always can use my wet brush and go closer and soften this, right? You always can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is still my most fun thing to do. I love watching how it becomes bark.
I know, me too. This is why I told you, this is the favorite part of this painting to me.
It is.
Yeah, and when we get to the bottom, do you remember? And you can see, we have these like twigs and these branches. We are going to do some negative painting. It means that it seems that I am bringing out some of these twigs and branches by painting in between them. And I'm talking about in between them on the trunk. So I'm creating these even without like drawing them ahead of time. I'm creating these like spiky feeling texture by painting in between those, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And on the bottom, I'm using more pigments, again, for the sake of the weight of the tree and the gravity. And to help planting our tree in the ground, although that we cannot see exactly where it goes in the ground.
My cat is trying to plant herself on the painting.
Now watch me. This is number 2, and it is loaded with just blue, ultramarine blue. I should say ultramarine, not ultra, ultramarine blue. Okay, I'm dabbing my blue here.
With ultramarine?
Just ultramarine. And maybe, I don't know, maybe at the end I would say I want to add some more purple too, but right now it's just blue. And I'm looking at my reference image and I'm creating some of these dark values in between those. And then to my purple. So I'm mixing the purple and blue on the paper, dabbing some purple here and here. This part looks like a stained glass, very small size stained glass, because I did negative painting. Okay. And then same story for this branch. The difference is the bottom of the branch and then where it meets the trunk is dark. And another thing, there are some snow, patches of the snow on the branch, which we're going to create. So probably 2 brush technique is not a good idea here. What should I do?
Oh, phooey.
You no, you know what? And if you did that, that's fine too. Please don't worry.
I just want to.
Yeah, definitely. Don't worry about that at all. So I'm doing wet on dry. The paper is dry and my brush is number 2 and it's loaded with pigments and paint. That blue violet that we talked about with a touch of primary yellow. And this is what I'm doing. Here is pretty dark. That's what I see here in the picture. And okay, here I didn't draw the snow line, but I'm gonna draw it right now with my brush. So there is a patch of the snow on this branch.
Are you using the purple there? The gray? What are you using?
Yeah, the combination of blue violet and yellow. But Susan, although that I did that, I feel that it needs some more yellow, which I'm gonna add later.
Yep.
Okay, it's too blue purple. And I'm gonna go up here, and when I get to the top, since we get closer to the source of light, we're gonna use more water to make our color a little bit lighter in value. Still the same color, but lighter. So I'm rinsing my brush completely now, and I'm going all the way up. So I barely can see any color here. I will go back to it later, not now. Here, I want to get rid of this purplish color by dabbing some more yellow directly onto the paper here. And if the paint is wet, it's going to bleed. If it is not, it would be more like a glaze over my bottom layer, which is good too. So okay. And then up here I have some dark branches which I'm gonna add later on. Right now, I can see that the patch of the snow has a very crisp edge. I don't like it. I don't want it to be this crisp. However, I cannot soften it right now. It's not a good time. So I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna be patient, and I'm gonna soften it a little bit later. What I can do is to now move on to the top part of the tree. And as you can see right now, this part is dry. So I need to re-wet it again and apply my colors. Can everyone see this part? Is it under the camera?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. So again, 2 brush technique, back to re-wetting my trunk. Again, because it's dry. And I'm gonna just leave one skinny ribbon on the right side to add my color. Which color? We said blue violet, ultramarine blue, and Russian purple or Windsor violet with a touch of primary yellow. So I'm mixing them right now on my palette until I'm happy. Because it should be almost the same as this one. If it is different than that, would be a challenge. Okay. Something similar with the same intensity. And then we're going to continue our journey here.
That looks like a 4 or a 6, not a 2, right?
This one is, no, I don't have 4. I have 2, I have 6. This one is 6. But
Okay.
you both have these silver black velvets, right?
Yes.
Yes. So the cool thing about them, and mine is getting old, so it's not as pointy as it used to be, but I like how you can use the tip for some details and then the belly for bigger size areas. Yeah, it is just number 6. And Betsy, I'm adding my color here, but whenever I see that it's not going to the other side that well, I'm just helping it, right? So
Okay.
yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Don't think, both of you, that it is acting perfectly always, all the time. Sometimes you need to dab. But the cool thing about wetting the other side is that you will get that curvish effect to your trunk. Okay.
Like that.
Yeah. So here, I missed our church classes in Weston.
Yeah,
was
that was a
fun.
long time ago.
That was a long time ago. Can you believe that? It was like now when I'm thinking about it, it was like a dream.
It's like another lifetime.
Another lifetime before COVID. Oh my gosh. Yep.
When everything came to a halt, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Almost 3 years ago now.
Yep.
3. Yeah.
If only we could erase
Oh yeah.
COVID. I'm one of the few people I know who hasn't had it.
I haven't had it either, Betsy.
Good. I've had all the shots I can get.
Yep.
Me too. Me too. It's
And-
funny. Both my husband and Ilya got COVID.
Oh,
And so last year, Ilya got COVID when we came back from our ski trip from Vermont, because there was like an outburst over there in Vermont where we went, Hillington. So we came back, Hillington, yeah. So we came back, first my friend got it, and then Ilya. And then I got sick like Ilya. I did every type of test. Mine was not COVID, his was COVID. I don't get it.
I had the same thing. I ended up, so after Chris and Amy's wedding in Vermont, it was near Killington in September. Every single person, the bridegroom, everybody got it except for Drew and my husband and myself. 120 people. Amazing, right? And I think
you have super genes.
well, we had that like at that time it was a brand new Omicron, whatever it was, booster came out, and we had gotten it a week before. We think that must have been what it was.
Yeah. They said that now Moderna made a shot for RSV.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, I know.
I think I might have had.
So I think that's what I got. I didn't get COVID, but while everybody else was struggling with COVID, I was so sick, and we had to leave Vermont so I could get down here, go to my doctors, and they diagnosed it as walking pneumonia. But I'm wondering now if I had the other respiratory virus.
It can be, yeah. So were you coughing? Was it like a lot of?
Unbelievable coughing. I couldn't stop coughing, and I was coughing up so much green stuff. Yeah, it was really serious.
I hope you got antibiotics then.
I did. I came home and got antibiotics, and that made a huge difference.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Ilya got to do the skiing before he got sick.
Yeah, and he did it. It was a longer story. He did it with a wrapped hand because he had surgery, and doctor told him,
oh my goodness.
Broken finger. The surgery was done. My husband was away. I was by myself. The surgery was done on December 8th, and it was this finger, but it was the bone was broken, and they put
Yeah.
nails and those stuff inside. Oh, I don't want to explain, but and then doctor said, it's your family's choice if you want to go on a ski trip, and we planned it ahead of time with friends. And
Oh my
Ilya said,
goodness.
I want to go, so he had his hand in cast.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was yeah, it was not very
I am sorry you were sick, Susan. That's crummy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Pneumonia.
And I could feel it coming on when I was at the wedding, you know. So you just get through as best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
You know, Drew and I have contemplated, because Chris and Amy live up in Vermont now full time. We were contemplating, you know, what do we do as we get older? Will we move up there? Because my parents had retired up there. But I am telling you, in Stowe, Vermont, you can't even find a pharmacy to get stuff. You know, it was really frustrating, and certainly no doctors within anything less than an hour away. So yeah, we were really glad to get home, saw our doctors, got our medicine, went back up.
Good.
Yep.
So I softened this edge. Now I'm happier with here. This edge of the snow on the branch here. And right now what I'm doing, probably I should have stopped doing that, but right now what I'm doing, I'm adding some more layers of color, same colors to the bottom of the tree. Maybe I need to take a break from this one and do the same thing with these two others, and then go back and add more layers to all the
Yeah, I unfortunately did too much.
No, that's okay.
I fell into the trap.
Yeah, I easily can. So we need to take a break from the first trunk and do the same thing almost. Probably, if you don't need me to talk, I'm not gonna talk. I keep talking. I feel that I cannot stop myself talking, but we can do the same thing. So we're gonna wet this trunk as well, and then lay down those colors. Purple, blue, blue, purple, and yellow on the opposite side. The same as this one. And I'm going to do the same thing with this last trunk as well. And then we will work on the branches more before we add more values. Okay. Here I really can add more color. It's pretty dark. This part of the trunk is dark. A touch of purple. And the same negative painting that I explained for the bottom of this one. one quick note. One thing that I want to add, because I can see it kind of in the reference image, is some, I don't know, some reflections of sunlight, more like warm colors, like yellow, on the trunk here. It is weird, but I can see that, especially on this skinny one, but here I can see that too. So for that, I may do something like this. I'm using my yellow and I'm going over this neutral color here, very gently.
What yellow are you using?
This one, I don't know if you have it or not. This is Hansa yellow by Daniel Smith, but you can use cadmium yellow. It's a warm yellow. I love this color, but I don't
Spell
want
it,
to.
please? I didn't understand the name. What kind of yellow?
It is Hansa.
Hansa. Yes, yes, yes. I forgot. Thank you.
Yep, of course.
I haven't painted for a while. And
Yeah, I know. It's great that you are back. I mean, I'm very happy to have you both back. I couldn't, I mean, I know that Thursdays we're not working for either of you. And I said, you know what, let's make it happen.
Really nice. I appreciate it.
Well, of course.
I do too, very much.
Of course. My pleasure.
Betsy, I've been away from it too.
Yeah.
Well, I can feel some of it coming back, which is very nice.
It is like, to me, like a skiing. When I don't do it for some time, I feel that I forgot. But when I start doing that, I say, oh no, I didn't. So it's like anything. So it definitely will come back to you. Okay. Can you see the effect here? I don't know if you can see it nicely or not, but it really works. We want to get rid of anything boring in our work, right? We want to use any hints of, I don't know, emotions, feelings to create it in our work. And I feel that this move works well. Adding yellow. Same thing here.
I've left my silver black velvet brushes rolled up so long that some of them are shedding. I think bugs got into them. They're little,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
little specks, and some of the hair came out. It's shocking. They're still good brushes, but my goodness.
You know what? The same thing happened. Do you know Joyce Klein?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a psychologist.
Yes. Good. Great. Yep. She still comes to MFA classes, and same thing happened to her brushes. And I told her, maybe this is because of the bugs. These are half natural hair, half synthetic. And with natural hair, you have to be careful to put them somewhere where air goes through, and also be careful for the moths and things like that. Yep.
Well, I had moths eat some of my clothes too. It's a bad year for moths. Or a good year for moths, a bad year for me.
Sorry, I know. Cedar, do you use cedar wood?
I have some pieces hanging, yes, and I have little sachets and I have a spray, but not enough.
No, they were hungry.
You know what? As somebody who knits, and I wear a lot of sweaters and woolens, I've been battling moths for years, and I found the key is I don't put a sweater away unless I know it's clean. I always air them out and kind of wipe them off, if that makes any sense. Like on a like sunny open table counter. And then after I know everything's dry, I fold them up, I put them in a Ziploc freezer bag.
Mm.
And I store them in my closet with usually like a little piece of cedar or a little piece of sachet of something in it with it.
Mm.
And that's helped because I was getting moth holes in absolutely everything.
It's terrible. It's heartbreaking.
Yep, yep.
It-
And always like right in the front on the center. They'd
I
find
know,
a little
that's
bit,
right.
Yeah, yeah,
you
the
know,
nerve of them.
yep, front
Yeah.
and center.
I must have spilled food or something that I didn't
Don't
realize.
even realize it. You think you're being so neat, but little, you know, whether it's a little bit of you're talking and it's a little bit of spit or something.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that those things are important too.
Yep,
Interesting.
the littlest bit of something that they smell.
Hmm.
Insects, yeah.
Insects.
Yeah.
Yep,
Weevils.
yep. Well,
Weevil is a kind of bug, Seppi. Do you know that? A weevil?
No, I don't. Probably that can be a subject for one class.
Evil
oh God.
weevil. I don't know.
No. No, I don't know that.
It's maybe an old-fashioned or Southern term,
Okay.
not very often used.
Tell me again the name.
Weevil,
A weevil.
Weevil. It rhymes with evil.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Same yellow here.
Now, I haven't had the courage to put the yellow on yet, but
Don't do it if you don't want to. I'm
I
a
will,
little
I will. I'm behind you.
or you can, I don't know. I feel, especially here, Betsy, I can see this one here. Can you see the sunlight warm color on the branch? Can you see that color? Yeah.
I drew mine differently, so the big tree continued to the left.
That's okay.
I misunderstood. But it can do both. It can go both directions.
Definitely. There is no right or wrong. Okay, here on this side of the trunk, there are some parts are covered with the snow, and I can create them. I can just go around them. Let's see, the paper is almost dry. So these are, imagine these are the patches of the snow. And I feel that I see some brown here. It's not that purple. So because of that, I'm gonna use a touch of burnt umber over here. And if I see it's too brown, I just can balance it out with some ultramarine blue, which I'm gonna do right now. Blue and brown. And I can add more details, but not right now for my next layer. And I'm gonna soften the edge of these dark brown colors. And while I'm doing that, I look at the reference image, I see those textures. I'm just creating those too. And those negative paintings. So adding some more brown and going in between.
Seppi, have you gotten most people coming back to your classes at the MFA?
So the returning friends are, so many of them are, but not for like from 5 years ago, if I want to say. Do you know, Susan, you haven't been to MFA classes, have you?
Nope.
No,
No,
yeah.
but
So Betsy probably knows some friends, Barbara Boylan, Debbie Ellman.
Debbie, I
and
remember. Debbie loves dogs, loves painting dogs.
yes, and she went through another phase of painting cows and Irish cows. Yeah. And the pictures were taken by Barb because they have a house in Ireland. And
Oh,
their house has like a lovely view to a place. It's like a heaven. I don't know. I haven't been to heaven, but it is beautiful.
how
With
beautiful.
those, yeah, with those beautiful cows and their birch trees in Ireland is very interesting. Their birch trees are big and they're like, I don't know, they are very special. I don't know. But these three friends are from probably 5 years ago. And then I have some other students from like 3, 2, which you don't know. Yeah. But online classes, we have some friends in online classes too. So you know Tina from the online class.
there were two Tinas, the tall Tina.
Tall Tina. Other Tina, I mean, she's not coming to my classes anymore. Who else? Yeah, from that class, that Western
Another
class.
Another Joyce.
Joyce, no, Joyce is busy with her grandchildren. I think her daughter got married, remarried, and then
Right, she was
the
talking.
kids are with Joyce, yeah. And she is doing an acrylic class with a woman with lots of flowers and colorful, which is her style. And I haven't heard, I mean, I saw her post on Facebook. She's my friend, but we are not in touch that much. Yeah.
I think COVID has isolated people. At least
Oh,
me, I've embraced my inner hermit.
yep, I agree with you. Yep. I agree.
I'm so glad that so far it hasn't been as bad as they said it might this fall as a triple-demic, you know?
That's right. No, I agree.
It's still
Yeah.
time, of course, but.
Because I was scared when I was listening to the news before the winter break. I thought, oh, okay, it's going to be another scary wave, especially at the schools. No, we had some before the winter break, actually. We had many kids who were sick, probably RSV too, and COVID. But after the winter break, it seems that everything was fine.
Good.
Yeah, I got sick too. Again, not COVID, but this is the second year that I get like catch cold and I lose the sense of taste and smell completely
how
for like a
terrible.
week.
Yeah.
It is, and this is new. I don't know.
Does it come back?
Yeah. Oh
Oh.
my gosh. Yeah. I was worried first time that is it gonna come back? Because in cooking, in everything.
Yep.
Well, life is boring if you can't. smell.
Exactly. And I was not enjoying the food also. I lost my appetite. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Which
There's
was
a
good.
diet plan.
What is it?
Diet plan. I need something.
Yeah. Which was good for losing weight, but yeah, very boring.
Joy in life. I have a question and a problem,
Okay, let me come to you. Hold on.
and you have time.
Yeah, I have time. Hold on. Let me just do this. And then this. Let me come to you.
I put too much blue.
Hold on, let me pin you first. Where? I don't know. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All
Yes.
right.
it's
Maybe-
nice.
Betsy, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
It's
too blue.
gorgeous.
Okay. All right. Thank
Really,
you.
really great.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Maybe if I put some yellow, it will elsewhere, it will balance.
I like it. I mean, if you want, you know what you can do? You can use the same color down here. So you
Mhm.
can bring that color onto your trunk to create that like connection, connection. Okay, so let me do this. And then Susan, let me see yours also. Look at my
Oh,
hair.
well, I will tell you right out of the gate,
Mhm.
my time away from this is showing.
No
I'm really
worries.
glad you're recording it and I can practice this week. Remember I said I did 100 trees and they all started turning out much better because
Okay.
one of them looks good. The other two that looked so good to start, I somehow messed them up by doing too much or whatever. So the one on the far right side is looking better than the other two. It's a work in progress, Stephanie.
Let me see. You
I'm
are
so-
doing great. You are doing great, Susan. I don't know what you're talking about. I would say you just need to add more layers. I don't
Yep.
think that they are dark. I even think that you need to add more layers, and don't do it before, and I'm not gonna do it before I finish the trunks, which is done right. So I'm gonna add my branches, and I want both of you to look at me because it's like a refresher, a reminder after some break. Let's practice. Let me just.
And you know what I have to say? I am loving doing these classes on Zoom because it's so easy to watch you and see what you're doing. And the recordings are really wonderful.
Yes, they are good. I know they are helpful. I agree with you because in-person classes are great because of the social aspect. You get to see the people physically in person. That is the good part of it. But for the sake of learning and practicing, these classes are better because you are with me like for the whole time and I'm working for the whole time and you get to see my hands while you're working on your piece, which is great, right?
Yep.
I agree with you. Yep. And thank you for sharing that. So I'm gonna close this camera again and start sharing my screen. Okay. Now that I am done with the first layer of the trunks, and I know I need to add more details, but right now it's a good time to add my main branches. Mostly the branches that I drew with pencil. Some of them are covered with snow, some of them are not, some of them are darker than others. And the color palette would be the same as the one that I use for the trunks. Remember, I use some brown here. I may need to use some brown for some of them. Brush number 2. Blue, violet here, but I am not, I am not using too much pigment. So the intensity is not very high. The color is dark, if it makes sense, but the intensity is not. We need that transparency. And all I'm doing right now, I'm just covering over the line that I drew for this dark branch covered with the snow. Here and then. How about the snow over the branch? I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just doing the branch. Now I think it's a good time to add a touch of brown over this blue violet. A touch. Again, not too intense. I'm dabbing this brown over here. Because I can see that in the picture too. Okay. And I know here is dark too. I'm not worried about it right now. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna soften this. I'm gonna soften this dark edge for later. Okay, let me just add some more blue and brown here. I just feel that this part needs to be a little bit darker. And since it's damp and wet, I can do it. Okay. Here there is another one. Same colors. Is it over or under? It is under this one. So I'm gonna stop my brush here and continue it on the other side. Again, don't worry if your drawing is not exactly the same as reference image. Mine is not either. And then the same thing, I'm going to soften this edge for later when we are adding those designs to our drawings. I'm just going to add a touch of blue to some areas of the branch here. Maybe one other branch here, and maybe one here. I'm not even looking at the reference image. Okay. Here I'm just making off the twigs. Adding some more colors here. up here, I definitely can tell branches are pretty dark, and I'm using brown, blue, and purple. Probably instead of yellow, let's say I'm using earth umber because it's dark, the branch up here. So the warm color, yeah, go ahead.
So you're mixing burnt umber
Yeah.
and a little bit of the with a little bit of your purple.
Yep, and a touch of blue. And I can test to see how dark it is. It's dark, and I need this dark color for us.
So it does look, from where I'm sitting, like a gray. It's a gray, really, isn't it?
Which part?
What you're using now, would you say it's a gray?
This one that I'm using right now, if you can, it is more, it is a very neutral, let's say brown.
Brown, okay.
Yeah, it is, this one is gray.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I know it's hard to see through the screen, but yeah.
Now, can I ask one other question? In the beginning,
of course,
when you were starting to, we were first starting to do the bark on the birches, we went with a purplish tone.
Yep.
Why did you choose that over something grayer?
Because she likes purple. No, I'm sorry.
That is the answer. That is the answer, honestly. And I am embarrassed to say that. I try to say,
don't be.
No, I'm honestly, I feel that I love purple, but then when I was thinking, when someone asked me what is your favorite color, I would say I love all the colors depending on where you want to use the color.
Yeah.
But then I ended up like having my coffee bottle lavender, and then my jacket is purple, and then this one, my husband bought this one for me. He was tired probably from
so
purple.
So purple is your default.
It is my default.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but no, you don't have to use purple. Honestly, Susan, with purple, I try to create something very neutral like this one.
Yep.
And another real reason, I hope real reason, is because purple is a great complementary color to darken your colors when you need to, not just with watercolor, even with acrylic. When I'm painting, purple is a great way to darken the color rather than black. Okay. Another great dark color is neutral tint and Payne's gray. Those are great too. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to support Seppi because I once long ago took a plein air workshop at Tower Hill. I really wasn't, I think I was the least prepared or least practiced person. And the woman there, the teacher there, suggested putting purple in the green of the trees and lots of places. So it is a good way to add depth.
What a great teacher. I'm just kidding, but
yes,
no.
yes.
Oh, and you know what? If you want to match them, like put them beside each other, green and purple, aren't they amazing? I feel that they are very nice together too. And to darken your green, Betsy, she was right. You are right. It's a great color to really darken your green if you want to get those like.
I did not know that. It was briefly.
Yep.
Because it has some red and some blue. It
exactly
made the green more mature and deeper. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I would never have thought of purple in the trees.
I know. So purple in the trees for the greeneries, for the leaves, to darken the green color.
I think they were evergreens. I forget. It's quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Because evergreens, some of them, they have very deep green colors. And instead of red to green, you can add that purple. I can see that. Or something even more fun, instead of like purple, you can sometimes add magenta to your colors to darken them. We were doing pumpkins and inspired by the season always. Pumpkins and sunflowers. And to darken the pumpkins, sometimes it's challenging how to darken that like orange color. Using blue can be tricky, the opposite color, but sometimes a touch of magenta. It's amazing how it makes your pumpkin look three-dimensional, which is a purplish pink color, right? So that is a great color too. Yeah. Okay, you can see how dark I'm going with these like branches.
Very dark.
Yeah, very dark. But if you were closer here, you could see that they are very transparent, or although that they are dark, they are not heavy.
Mm.
Seppi, I find this so relaxing and so much fun. Thank you so much for
Of course.
working so hard to make this work.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I wish I could play some music. I can't with this system.
Oh, yes, you always had music.
I
And do you
always
remember
had,
you used to bring the best food.
yeah. The problem is with the online system, it doesn't work. No one can hear the music, and it's kind of annoying.
Yep.
For especially for you on the other side to listen to something very, yeah, the quality is not enough. Okay. I'm gonna soften this part. I did that, but since the color is too dark, it doesn't make sense on this trunk. I'm just gonna get rid of this very dark, like a stain. I'm just gonna get rid of that. Yeah. Okay. And you know what? With your class also, I do my best. So we're gonna meet in 1 month, 4 weeks, right?
Yep.
But until then, I am going to finish this one.
Yep.
And I am going to make a time-lapse video for you.
Okay.
To watch the whole process without any faces, anything, just me, my hand. That is going to be shared for everyone on the YouTube. Your video, the recording of the class, is just going to be shared with 2 of you, no one else.
Yep.
It's on
Yep.
YouTube, but it's private to just me and you two. No one else can see that. Another good point is I always share a time-lapse video of the process with the other class as well. And you are more than welcome to watch those videos too. It's going to be on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
For example, the next one for tomorrow's class would be on Monday. You will see the other half of this painting in time lapse on Monday. How about yours? I'm going to finish yours also, maybe after Monday, maybe by the end of next week, and I'm going to share that with you as well. But you get to see both, and they are the same pictures, just
Yep.
the other half. Okay.
Okay, so we have 4 classes and they have what, 8?
They have 5, but they have it every week. So you ladies are going to have once a month meeting. Okay. It's going to go longer. Theirs is going to end in 5 weeks. because I need probably a break, or I may start it again. Anyway, I need to stop the online classes on Thursday in May because I'm going in person to the woods garden in the woods. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And what are you doing in that class?
So we're gonna actually, I had a meeting with the director over there. Whatever we are doing there, it's inspired by their plants and botanicals. So I'm gonna go visit there, and we can do some like plainer painting in the woods. So taking our stuff outside and work. I was thinking to take them outside and take pictures with their phones. The name of the course is Inspired by Nature, and they have a beautiful nature around them. So she said,
out there in so long.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I used to go there a lot actually, because they're famous for a plant sale that they have in the spring. They divide their plants, and the plants are local, and they're just beautiful. And
They
I don't know
are.
if it's, yeah.
And
So
another good news for you, in case if you are interested, any of you, if you cannot make it to the Thursday nights, I am going to teach there in summer, in the month of, so in July, I'm not teaching, but in the month of August, I'm going to do a 1 week intensive painting in the morning.
Nice.
I will share the information with you whenever.
Okay.
Actually, it's confirmed, so I can share it with you if you're interested. Just send me an email.
yes, yeah.
Because you know what? I love the place. I mean, the place itself is very inspiring to create art.
Yeah, it is.
And the director is new. She said there used to be watercolor classes in the past. And now that I am the new director, I want to bring it back.
Good.
And yeah, she reached out to me actually through one of the old friends from MFA.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yep.
Before we stop, will you give us some pointers about what to do? Or
what time? Oh,
so?
you're right. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
You keep going if you want, but I
thank you. So before I come to you, I want to explain the process for you to work on, especially over the weekend. I expect you, I'm like those teachers, I expect you to work a little bit more, please. So what you need to work on, you know what to do up to here, right? The next step would be to add all my branches that I drew. Which branches? Big size branches, not the twigs. The ones that I can see easily. When I squint my eyes and I look, I can see them easily. Thick enough, big enough, dark enough. I'm gonna go over those using these colors: brown, blue, purple. And then the next step would be to go to your, actually, let me do it quickly because I want you to know what to do next. The next step would be, yes, I created this three-dimensional look, which is kind of enough or not. But the next step would be to create those designs, dark designs. The color that I have here is more like this color, but with more water, less intensity. It is not intense. Again, I'm repeating myself. I don't want you to add very strong dark colors and then get upset. We are working with watercolor, and although that it seems that these patterns, and I see eyes always on birch trees, which is scary, but it's not scary.
It just makes it come alive, you know? It's
so
fun to watch.
It is lovely. Yeah, I love them, honestly. So
it's
to
one of my
create
favorite trees. It's just so beautiful.
They are beautiful. They are lovely. So can you see how I'm freely going over these, using these colors that I mixed we mixed earlier to create our dark branches, but adding good amount of water. And yes, if I want to stop in some areas and create like bigger marks, which I can see, I can also, but this is how we're gonna do it. And one important note, it's about perspective. So this is a cylinder. And if you imagine a cylinder and considering your viewer level, so if you are right here, if your eyes are right here, and this is a trunk, whatever straight line is above your sight is going to be curvish this way. And I'm going to exaggerate it. If you go up there, it's going to be curvish like this, even more. So they're technically straight, but on a cylinder, they're going to look like this. When you go lower than your eye level, and I'm going to draw an eye here with eyelashes, with some mascara, I'm just kidding. Down here, whatever you have, it's going to curve down gently, not suddenly, but gently like this. Please consider that when you are doing your birch trees. Don't think that you have to add like horizontal lines, cookie cuttery horizontal lines the same way, curvish. I would say the eye view would be the horizon line somewhere here. Up here, everything I'm adding, I'm curving it up like this. From down here, from here to the bottom, honestly, I don't see much. It's more like a dark color, but if I want to add some of these, curve it down. I hope it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The next step after that, and it's recording, so you can, if you forget, you can go back to this recording, would be to work on the snow, leaving these like small marks using the same colors, like the blue, purple, blue, purplish blue, let's say, and moving it this way. This is a snow, and I'm just going to create those textures for the snow, if it makes sense. And you can play around with the colors. You can soften these a little bit with just clear brush. I rinse my brush. It's more like when we're working on a lake, we want to show the movement of water, something like that. We don't want it to be plain. And another thing is I do my best to make the time-lapse video. You definitely can see the time-lapse video of tomorrow, painting on Monday, and this one. Also, I do my best to finish this one too by the end of next week, but they are the same. The other one is the other half of the same thing. So everything is the same. Even the trees are, it's just the rest of the scene. Yeah. And then after that, I'm going to use the same colors, those like olive greens and then cool greens, just adding one more layer and creating more texture to the evergreens. After I'm done with everything, the final touch would be to add the twigs, remember? And I don't have them here. I didn't draw them, but I will create them with my brush and my dark color. And I'm not worried about the snow patches because they are too skinny. We even cannot see the snow patches on them, if it makes sense.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna stop sharing and recording, and then I'm gonna come to you right now. Let me do this first.